Hi, Terry Beckman here with Skillful Means Training and Consulting. Welcome to your Skillful Means Productivity Toolkit. And I want to take just a second to thank you again for being a Skillful Means Training subscriber and also for completing my little 4-question survey recently, which will really help me understand how to better serve you and provide products and services that are most helpful. So thank you again for taking time to complete that. And this is my little gift to you for those two things. So let's dive in and get started. So I want you to know that you will be getting the tools of the toolkit over the next 3 weeks. And you will be getting them via email, so watch for those emails. And in each email, there will be a little bit of, coaching preparation for you as you're entering into that week, and then the tools themselves. And they will be in a downloadable form, so you can download them to your own computer or tablet. And I encourage you to do that, so you'll have them, forever. But I encourage you really to work with me very intensively and kind of purposefully over the next 3 weeks so that we kind of do it together to start with. And my goal for you really is not only to increase your productivity over these 3 weeks, but do it in a way that your patterning, the way your relationship to your work and to time starts to shift so that your productivity increases are not temporary, but that they are sustainable. That after the 3 weeks, you can maintain this higher level. And as you work with the practices, if you choose to continue to work with the practices over time, I assure you, you will continue to see jumps in your productivity. So I'm excited to be able to offer you something like that could be so very valuable for you in your work and your business. So there are 5 tools in the toolkit, and in our first week, this week, we are going to start with 3. So we're going to get off to a roaring start, and I want to just touch a little bit on each one to help you get the most out of it. The first one is called Opening Throat Energy, and this practice is from a book called Mastering Successful Work by Tartang Toku. This is my well-worn copy. And if you have a copy, I encourage you to look that exercise up. It's towards the back of the book. And if you don't have a copy, there is a link in the email that you can go to easily purchase a copy if that's of interest to you. So this exercise is important for several reasons. And I'm really learning this myself in my own path of skillful means. And that is that it's very difficult to sustain high levels of productivity if there is something going on in our life that is creating some kind of an internal imbalance. So, and this happens, right? This is a very human thing to happen. Things happen in our lives, in our work lives, in our personal lives that, throw us for a loop sometimes. And these things, if they are not integrated into the body in a way that's healthy, in a way that we can bring our experience forward with us, we cannot maintain productivity. Even if we are the most disciplined, person that we know, and we're like, chop, chop, get down to work, we cannot maintain that if there's something else significant going on in the background. We can't cut our lives off like that, compartmentalize our lives like that. Not for very long. When we can do it for long, if we do it for long, for sure our results at work will not be as good as they could be otherwise. It starts to become somewhat mediocre and subpar, And we don't want to live our lives like that, right? So we spend a lot of time at work. So it's important, right, that our work is vibrant and joyful and flowing. So this exercise really helps to dissolve some of those blockages. Without having to get into the story of it, it helps to dissolve it on an energetic level. And opening the throat, in particular, we work with that because as people who are often paid to think, our throat and our head are often, and often also the heart, so sort of the upper part of the body, often this is where we find blockages that affect our work directly. When the throat is blocked in particular, communication can be quite difficult. Of course, communication is the grease, right, of any workplace. And in the head and the heart as well can be very troublesome when there are blockages in that area. So I encourage you to do this exercise daily. And actually, you can do it more than once a day. You can do it any time that you're running into difficulties at work. You can just take a couple of minutes, and once you've got some practice in doing it, you'll find you'll be able to do it quite quickly. So there is a download audio of this practice. It is one of the tools. A second tool related to this is a chapter on concentration. And this chapter comes from the Skillful Means book by Tartan Tulku as well, the same author. And within the concentration chapter, there's really wonderful advice about how to learn to focus our concentration in a light way, not in a forced or a rigid way. And within that chapter is our third tool called Fully Focusing. This practice I want to ask you to do just as you're sitting down to your desk or wherever you work during the day. So you've come to work, you're ready to get started, and this is the practice you do just before you get started. So the opening the throat, you might like to do at home before you come in the morning, but the fully focusing we do just as we're sitting down to the desk is what's recommended. But before you do anything, and it's just a wonderful way to balance and clear the mind and allow you to more deliberately choose what it is that you want to focus on today. So we're starting to get into the driver's seat of our work life. Instead of reacting to fires and reacting to other people's agenda, this exercise helps us start to set our own agenda, to start to really take responsibility for how do we want to spend our time. It also really helps with distraction, really helps us be able to relax the tendency to be distracted. And of course, there's so many stimulations for that. So really highly recommended. Fully Focusing, you'll see it both in the written form in the concentration chapter, and then I've also downloaded that exercise so you can listen to it when you're sitting at your desk. So do that each morning this week, and let's see how that goes for you. And then I'd love to hear from you. So I give you several ways to be in touch, and I'm going to be looking for your questions, your comments about the practices, and I'd really like to hear how it's going next week. Look for the second email, and we'll just take it to the next level. So thanks so much for being here and for engaging the practices, and I can't wait to hear from you. Take care.